I guess on my hair, she look all right. And with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video, I'm bringing you a special tutorial. Every month, I pick a subscriber of the month, and this month we got Lady TH. And when I tell you, honey, she picked something that was very important to me. Y'all know I love me an indie-owned brand. Y'all know I love a black-owned brand. But when she picked this palette here, Pat McGrath, I said, oh, honey, that satisfies both of us. But guess which one she got? You read the title. You know which one is coming, honey. Mothership 5. Get into her. Now, y'all know, greens are my favorites. And although it ain't many greens, that one right there, she's shining. But I told myself, pull off a beautiful neutral look without that green, something that's going to get everybody going and something that'll keep you happy. And with this look, I absolutely love it. I've worn this look so many times, it's ridiculous because my best friend bought me this palette. So not only is this tutorial sentimental to me because I get to get something going that was a special request from you all, but I finally get to show my best friend how to achieve this look because even though she's seen it many times, I've never done it around her, and I know her baby shower coming up and she might want a little inspiration. Normally she try to keep her makeup rather soft and laid back, but I'm gonna need y'all to get in the description bar like, girl, go ahead and try it, go ahead. This is cute, this over the top. She always be trying to act like she's scared of makeup, but we gonna get her into it. But if you all wanna know my opinions on this palette, because just cause I got her and I love her, does not mean I will recommend her to y'all, honey. I'm gonna keep it open and honest with y'all. So, if you wanna know my opinions on this palette, you're gonna have to wait to the end. But if you wanna know how to achieve this gorgeous look, let's get into it after swatches. Before we get into it, you know I had to bring you the packaging. Out of all of the makeup in the industry, I think Mother McGrath has the best casing for all makeup palettes. When I tell you, this thing is large, it is heavy, it is quality, it is beautiful from the outside to the inside to the back. Like, everything about this case is gorgeous. Once inside, you see all 10 beautiful shades, and get into her. 3 mattes, 3 metallics, and 4 of her Blitz Astral shades. Those 4 shades on the far right are exactly what everybody comes to these Mothership palettes for. Although the formula and packaging on everything is gorgeous, it's those 4 special shades that has everybody going gaga. And get into this color story, honey. When I tell you, she is absolutely beautiful. Look at the color variety, look at the textures, look at that pigmentation. All my swatches are done one time over no primer, and you can see this is absolutely stunning. But it's not just about how things look on the arm, it's about how they perform on the eyes as well. And we only gonna find that out if we grab our brushes. So go ahead and get yours, because you know I'm about to grab mine. Before we get started, I want to remind you of 2 things. With all tutorials, all tools and product shoes will always be in the description bar below. So if I forget to mention anything, check out there. And also, make sure you all are checking out the communities tab on YouTube. I'm always leaving questions and things there to try to get interaction with you all. Yesterday, I left a question asking, which palette do you want to see first? I believe I had 5 or 6 different selections. The one with the most votes, 32%, was the Pat McGrath Mothership 5. So I'm like, Torrence, why stress yourself out trying to figure out which one they want to see, which one might do the best, when you can ask them and find out. So we have that going today, baby. Subscriber's choice of the month. We're going to try to keep it simple because this is a neutral palette. But baby, y'all know I like to take it there. So we're going to grab our palette. Start things off. You know I like me a nice matte crease. So we're going to grab our largest, fluffiest blending brush in this shade here, Entrapment, and we're going to use this as a transition shade throughout our entire crease. And as with all mattes, honey, we want to tap off our excess because we can come back in for a little more. Start on the outer end and build and blend our way up, honey. And get into the pigmentation on this already. I know y'all see that already. Just absolutely stunning. When I tell you all, the day this palette dropped, I knew for sure I wanted it. I knew for sure I was going to get it, but I didn't have the money on launch day. So imagine how ecstatic I was to be sitting back trying to save up for it, only to find out that my best friend had picked it up for me. When I tell you, the way I hollered, the way I screamed, the excitement I had, like, look at that build and that blend already, honey. I'm debating on whether I want to go in with one more layer just to deepen things up, because I'm trying to tell myself we're going to keep it neutral, but we're going to go in one more time just because y'all here. I want y'all to see how this builds, and we're just going to keep going. And when I tell you, I don't think I've ever been so excited to receive an eyeshadow palette, because although I receive a lot, it was like, baby, most people usually get me something in the ABH range, you know, the Tarte range, something like that. I think it's only been one time that somebody's ever bought me a Pat McGrath palette, so for her to be luxury, black owned, female owned, and not only that, Pat McGrath was an icon and an idol before she started her brand. Like, if you grew up wanting to do makeup, learning about makeup and the history, the craft and all of that, baby, there was no way you can get into it without hearing about Pat McGrath. And look at that right there. When I tell you that color alone, beautiful enough to pack on the lid, keep it moving, but we got more than that coming. So I'll be right back. And my eyes might not be twins, but they sisters, and that's close enough for me. So we're gonna take a smaller blending brush and this shade here, Disobedient, and we're gonna deepen up the crease. I wanna take this even lower in the crease because I don't wanna mess up my transition shade, and I also don't wanna cover it up. I just want a little more depth and dimension. And baby, I really wanna make sure I tap this shade off really well because I can always come back in for more. I just wanna deepen things up, but not take over the look. Actually, to make sure, we're gonna start packing this on the outer V first. We're not even gonna risk that. Roll my brush all the way around, get it all off on that outer V. And you see how much darker that shade is, so baby, you could tell she's gonna add some color. But we can always come back in for a little more. It's just I want this outer end to be the darkest part of the eye, and then we'll take whatever's left and blend it down as low as we can get it into the crease. I do not want this look to be dark, but with my hooded lids, I love some depth and dimension. And you're gonna see how this shade still comes through and shine on that outer V, but definitely looks darker in the crease on this side. I'm not even raising my brush for real, keeping it as low as I can just to get that color blended, and then just the tiniest amount of lift to diffuse that edge. Look at that. One layer on this side, definitely giving us more depth and dimension than this side. And just because we got y'all here, normally I would skip it. We're gonna go ahead and deepen up our outer V. So I'm gonna take my smallest blending brush and this shade here, Extreme Aubergine, and we're gonna use that just on the outer V. Now with this shade, we wanna be extra careful because she's really dark. So we're gonna take her to the very outermost point. I'm gonna take it about halfway as I did that first shade, and I wanna keep this as far back as I possibly can and as low as I can. I'm not even really worried about diffusing that edge or anything. I just really want this to be as dark as possible. And you can bring it down if you want, just to make sure that you don't skip anything, because we're gonna clean this up with foundation and concealer. But I just really want this to be pitch black. Well, not necessarily black, because this is like a black and purpley color, but I want this to be as dark as possible right here. I know she look a mess now. She look like somebody punched me, but I promise you, she gonna clean up later on. Now we're gonna take our NYX glitter primer. I'm gonna put some of this on the back of my hand. I'm not really worried about getting a cut crease or anything. I just wanna make sure my lids are covered. And baby, when I tell y'all, don't nothing get the job done quite like this Morphe brush. She is so small, so affordable. I just love her. I know for sure I got at least 10 of these things floating around because no matter what, I always want to have one available and clean. And I'm going to be hurt if they ever discontinue her. And I'm just pushing this right into the socket. I'm not really worried about anything, just pushing it in and rocking it all the way to the back. And we can cover some of that outer V work. We just don't want that darkest color covered. And I don't really want to worry about cutting my crease high. But you know what? I think I just did on that one. Whoop. That'll be it. Now to cover our entire lids, my favorite shimmer from Pat McGrath, honey. I know she look basic, but I love her. It's this middle shade right here, Bronze Blaze. I love her, honey. We're gonna take her and cover our entire lid. Wait till you see what she look like. Now, honey, you can use whatever you want to apply this shade. Finger, silicone applicator, whatever. I like a brush, and baby, watch this. When I tell you, she is gorgeous. The shine, the color, everything about her, I absolutely love this shade here. She does have, I would say, she's not a glitter shade, but she does have a chunkier texture than most metallics. But she is gorgeous. Look at this here, honey. And the thing is, you can start off like this, where she looks, I'm not gonna say sheer, but she doesn't look like a full covered shadow on that first one if you use a brush, which is why I like it. If I would have went in with my finger, she would have came off opaque on that first run. But do you see the shine and the color on that bad boy there? Now watch, we're gonna go in and layer her up one more time. Watch this. And do you see how that color is now even more intense? It's even more opaque. At first she comes off more like a medium, not even a sheer topper, a medium topper. But then she starts to build up more like a full-blown metallic, giving you the option to just be nice and soft or take it there, and look at that, baby. Even more bold, even deeper, and I think she is gorgeous, honey. She is gorgeous. And baby, we already got y'all here. I know I said I was gonna try to keep things soft and neutral, but I just want to add a little more pizzazz to it. So I'm gonna grab my silicone applicator in this shade here, Astro Luna Gold, and we're gonna put this in the center of the lid just to create a beam. Now when I tell you all, the Bliss Astro formula is what got us hooked with Pat McGrath. On this side, it's empty. On this side, she's packed with product. And all I did was one swipe across, but look at the shine this is gonna provide. I wanna take this and put this right here in the center, just so she can be a highlight for me, like, boop. I know y'all see that on camera, like, baby, I haven't even had time to blend that in, but you can see the extra amount of shine she put right there in the center. So what I'm gonna do is put this, and we're gonna diffuse that out, because I don't want harsh lines around the edges, but I wanna make sure it does not move from the center. I want it to sit right there. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna stack and layer that a little more. Bam! Pop it, ma'am. Look at this side compared to this side. Gorgeous. All right, you guys, this is all we're gonna do for the lids right now. I'm gonna cut away, finish off the face, and when I come back, we're gonna finish off the lower lash line. All right, you guys, we are back, and I must admit, it's been quite a while off camera, honey. I think it's been like 2-3 hours. Was on the phone with several different friends, and when I tell you, things kept going. I know we was on the phone with my, what video was that? The Juvia's Place Powder Foundation. My previous one just went off. I know we watched that. So, baby, been talking, got a lot of stuff to go over. If I forget to mention anything, check out the description bar below. But I did want to tell you about a few of the things, most of them being Pat McGrath, just because we were already feeling mother, and you see this look is coming through. First off, for blush and highlighter, I'm using the Divine and Blush and Glow Trio in Galactic Sun. This is a face palette, I believe it came out 2 years ago. Finally used this one. And one of the main reasons I never used it is because I have this highlighter as an individual. This is in the shade Golden Nectar. Have that for the face. For the blush, I'm wearing this shade here, Desert Orchid. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Desert Orchid is the shade that I saw Doja Cat wear before. So this is the shade that I wanted as a single, but I'm like, we got it in palette form. Keep it there. Do not go out and buy another. For lower lash line, I am wearing the Permagel Ultra Glide Eye Pencil in the shade Extreme Black. She cute, got the job done. How can I put this? She's not the deepest, darkest, mattest black ever, but I think if you're the type of person who likes a soft black, she'll get her done. I have this in black and blue, and I just did not remember what the black was like. Now that I do, we can put her to the side. For lips. Yes, ma'am. Looking gorgeous. One of my favorite combos from Pat McGrath is the Permagel Ultra Glide Lip Pencil in the shade Manhattan. She's a nice deep brown. Love her. For the lipstick, I am wearing the Luxe Trance lipstick. Y'all know, normally I go for Matte Trance. Whoop, almost dropped her. Caught that. But this is the Luxe Trance in the shade LaBeija. Get into her here. I love this bullet. I think this might be my most used Pat McGrath lipstick. You know I love me a nude, and I did not want something that was extremely pale. Honestly, I could go for a shade a little lighter than this, but I find her perfect for everyday neutral looks. I was gonna put a gloss on top of it, but I'm glad I didn't, because otherwise that would have been gone hours ago. So, the star. The one that shocked me, I ain't gonna necessarily say the star, but she is gonna be the star of the upcoming video. I did not want to wait until Monday to use her. Don't tell nobody. But I had never tried out the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Longwear Foundation. I believe I may have tried it out once or got a sample of it, but it was in the shade 370, way too dark for me. It did not look right. This is my shade, 345. She's beautiful. Look at her. 345 is definitely my color. I wear that shade in their matte foundation and their powder foundation, but I wanted to make sure I tested her out, so when I use her on Monday, I can honestly say I know what she's like. Didn't want to wait till then, but this look is coming together, baby. Everybody was on the phone like, we're gonna look at that tutorial. And I'm sitting back like, what else do we gotta do? We ain't got much. Lower lash line. So let's grab our brushes, let's get our palettes and get back into it. I don't want to do too much. We want to keep it nice and soft. So we're going to take a pencil brush in this shade here, Entrapment, and we're going to buff that out. Then to give just the tiniest bit of depth and dimension, we're going to take a push liner brush in this shade here, Disobedient, and add that to the lower lash line as well. Baby, dip my brush a little too hard. We're going to kick that off. And you know what, make sure just to be on the safe side. And this is just to add a little color. I'm not really worried about anything, because honestly, we could skip this step and still be cute. But we're going to go ahead and add her. Outer corner, buff her up. And you want to keep this as close to the lashes as we can get it. And just enough to bring some color. She doesn't need to stand out. She doesn't need to be loud. It's just because we're wearing a black liner, I don't want it to be stuck right there. And look at how soft and beautiful that feels. Look at that color. Baby! I honestly don't even want to take that next color down there, because I'm like, she might add a little too much drama, and we might not need all of that. Look at how that one color, that one layer, just comes through and saves the day. Baby, be careful. Tap your brush off and go in slow. Because this brush is so small and I have really large features, I may have to dip more than once, but we're gonna start on this outer corner, get that to connect, then come in closer. We want just enough to add depth and dimension, and honestly, I might keep this on the outer half and then take a peek at her, just to see what she's looking like. You know what? I like that on the outer half. We're going to leave it like that. Now it's my favorite part of eyeshadow, highlighting my inner corners and brows. We're going to take this shade here, Skin Show Divine Glow, and we're going to pack that on the inner corners first, and whatever's left, we're going to use on the brow bone. And honey, get into this. I don't want y'all to miss it. Look at this beam right here. Baby, watch. Yes, ma'am. Like, Ooh-wee, the yellow hue. Like when you first look at her, you wouldn't even think that they had the slightest gold tone to it. But look at that. Yes, ma'am. And then we're going to take whatever is left and put that underneath the brows. And I want to work slowly because I know that yellow going to come through. Like, baby, look at... yes, ma'am. And you already know what it's about, honey. We got this look going on. And although she probably should have been sprayed a couple hours ago, we're going to do it now. So grab your city sprays because you know I'm about to grab mine. And you know the routine, honey. Let's get into it. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All-nighter so things will last all day. Cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. And y'all better not come for me in the comment section telling me that this Patrick's Hot fan not cheap. We playing with Pat McGrath, so I needed it. I'm gonna give this a few more seconds to dry down and I'll be back to give you all my final thoughts. And here's the final look. I want to go ahead and give you all the full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And I'm here to tell you all, like, let's get into it for real. Like, sis, are you looking what I'm looking at? Do you see the colors? Deep. Seriously, do you think I suggest this palette? Do you think I would tell anybody to pick this up? Of course. Yes, ma'am. You got to have it. She's beautiful. I love her. But that does not mean I'm going to lie for her. All palettes come with their pros and cons. No palette is perfect unless you make her yourself. So, I've already told you all that I recommend her. But if you want to know my pros and cons on this palette, let's get into it. First off, for pro, the fact that she got Mother McGrath's name on it is already good for me. She indie owned, she black owned, she female owned, and Pat McGrath is the most iconic makeup artist alive. Like, nobody has done more New York Fashion Weeks. Nobody posts online. Like, did you all see what her and the team did for Doja Cat at New York Fashion Week? Like, are you kidding me? I'm a fan, so we're gonna get into it. But aside from that, this packaging. The best in the market, and I just accidentally sprayed something on it and tried to wipe it off. It didn't come off, but I guess y'all don't see that. But when I tell you this thing is heavy, the back is metal and it's engraved, honey. Gorgeous. The mirror inside is beveled. It's gorgeous. The pans are huge. They're gorgeous. As someone who has nails, when I tell you, it is so easy to get swatches of these. Mini pans are so small, they make the job difficult. But no matter if you want to get your fingers or your brushes into these, they are fabulous. Another pro, the formula. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The mattes are beautiful. The metallics, next level. You all know I go back and forth when I be telling people, oh, my favorite shimmers is Pat McGrath. My favorite shimmers is Adept. I go back and forth, but I'm going to have to put it out there. Pat McGrath does neutrals like nobody else, and Adept does colors like nobody else. As far as duochromes, multi-chromes, glitters, things like that, Adept got them beat. But when it comes to just basic, keep it neutral, no color to be found nowhere, look at this look by Pat McGrath. Y'all know I love me a colorful look, but when I tell you, I've never created an ugly look with this palette. And I'm the type of person who always tell y'all, pinks, blues, oranges, don't do it for me. These two shades right here, they're much more pink and red, but they are stunning and they are gorgeous and I love them. You can build, you can blend all of these colors on top of one another. It doesn't matter which mattes you pair with which shimmers, it's always gonna come out beautiful. I love it, I love it, I love it. But it's like, Torrence, even though this palette was a Christmas gift and you love her, even though you love Mother McGrath and you recommend this palette, you got to tell people about the bad. So we can't glance over it. The first con, as with any and all Mothership palettes, this palette retails for $129 for 10 shades. You can't forget that. You can't tell somebody, oh yeah, you go get this, blah, 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 and forget to mention that. There is no way in the world I would ever be able to convince my sister to buy this. She doesn't care how great the color story is, how great the formula, none of that matters. Once you say $125, well, it's $129. When I got this as a gift, she was $125. She's not gonna care. It could be the only palette she ever needs. It can blend itself, and for $129, she does not want to hear it. Another con, and it's just for me, although I truly believe every shade in this palette performs. They are all beautiful. Two of them do have a tendency to gain hard pan if you go in there with your finger. These two bottom matte shades, this shade here, Extreme Aubergine, which has like a purple hue to it, and this dark brown, Disobedient, if you use just your brushes, you will have no issues. But someone like me who likes to do swatches for tutorials, if for some reason, let's say you're new with the palette and you're not sure what a color is going to look like, and you take your fingers and you swatch them on your hand just to see what they look like, I find that these two shades develop hard pan every single time I put my finger in it. But right after that, it is easier to wipe off. You can do it with a tissue, a Q-tip, a brush, or anything like that. I find just wrapping your finger with a piece of tissue, rubbing it right across, takes that straight off. But at $129, you shouldn't have to do that, because if this is the only palette you have or you plan on using it all the time, imagine if every time you had to use it, you risk having to waste product by removing hard pan. If you don't put your fingers in there, you're good. But at $129, why don't I have that option? If you was to go in with, who makes a beautiful matte? Mattes from Viseart, you can swatch with your fingers and keep it moving. Mattes from Adept and every other brand. And honestly, most mattes from Pat McGrath do the same thing. You can go in, you can swatch them, you're good. But with these two, if you go in with your finger, they are going to develop hard pan, and that's not something that I can hide from you all. But other than that, they fabulous. When I tell you, everything builds, everything blends. The only thing I could say possibly about the shimmers is with this one here. This is my favorite one, Bronze Blaze. She is a little chunkier. She is not glittery, but she does have some chunks of shimmer that to me help give it an extra beam and extra shine. So if you go in with it very sheer, she'll be nice and sparkly. But if you go in rather heavy like I did, she's full-blown metallic. But other than that, I love this palette. I love this palette, me personally, because this one was a gift. If I ever hit pan, if it ever gets expired or anything like that, she will be going in storage with my Juvia's Place Masquerade palette, and I would not mind buying this full price. I would go out and get another. The thing is, you never have to, because I think even right now, Pat McGrath has a 30% off sale. I usually try to get mine from Pat McGrath or Sephora. Sephora has a yearly 20% off sale, so you can wait for that. But it's not uncommon for Pat McGrath to have between 30 and 50% off on sales. A lot of times you may have to spend a certain amount, but it's really worth it. So I say, especially if you can catch it during one of those 30, 40, 50% off sales, find a friend and both of y'all buy a palette, put it on the same order. That way it's nothing to hit that $200, $300 mark and get that 50% off sale and get two palettes for the price of one. So I ain't gonna be able to say it enough. Baby, this palette is beautiful. And I'm just happy to finally get this tutorial up for you all, because she is stunning, stunning, stunning. And I need to go ahead and end this video because baby, we're gonna be talking all day and I know I'm not gonna shut up. And I hope you all truly did enjoy today's video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, I wanna say thank you to Lady TH, my subscriber of the month, honey. I hope you are loving this look, honey. I am feeling myself. I'm feeling this palette, and it feels amazing to know that I finally have a tutorial up for you all. Make sure you all are staying tuned, because I believe my very next video, I'm gonna try to get it up tomorrow, will be possibly, if you all allow me, to do a tutorial for the Inspired palette. This was not a part of my Use It or Lose It series, but I found out that they are doing one final restock on Monday, which I believe is the 20th. And I think I may be able to get this tutorial up on the 19th. If you all want a tutorial and my opinion up on it by the 19th, so you'll know if you want to grab it on the 20th, I can do so. But that may mean pushing one of my videos from the Use It or Lose It back a month. I just want to get permission from you all, because if not, I ain't trying to lose no palettes, and I will just stick to those. But if you all tell me, you know, push one palette back, it's okay, and I can do this, it'll save me and I can get this up for you all. If not, I'll just keep going with those and we'll just keep rotating my Use It or Lose It palettes. But I wanted to make sure I get this out. 1, get this going for my best friend and Pat McGrath. 2, get this up for Lady TH and you all. And 3, get this up for myself because I am so proud that I finally got everything done. And also for my wife because, baby, I did not want her birthday to come around and realize I had not tried that foundation out yet. Don't tell her yet. But I keep telling myself, Torrence, you gonna do this, you gonna do that? I was on the phone with my friends for so long that I want to get back into that conversation, but we're not gonna shortchange y'all. We gotta make sure this video gonna be gorgeous, because baby, you know I'm about to pose for these pictures. You know I'm feeling myself. Mother McGrath, Mothership 5, she did that. So, go end this video here, and I don't think I got nothing else to talk about, nothing else to do. So, with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye, YouTube.